Hello, hello. Welcome to this quick emotion regulation practice for parents, for any of us, but most specifically today for parents. And we'll wait just a minute, let people join. Oops. And in the meantime, go ahead and just get settled, because whatever you get out of this practice, it's at least 10 minutes that you can focus on yourself and take a break. So, for anyone that doesn't know, I am a parent coach and therapist. And as I am hearing themes and what parents are dealing with, I'm going to do a couple of these live stream meditations that will also be available after to share. So hopefully I can offer some tools that can help, because it is not an easy time to be a parent. And we'll go ahead and get started. So with the parent coaching work I do, usually it's partly planning, logistics, healthy boundaries, consequences, blah, blah, blah. But the other part is, how are we doing? How are we coping? How self-aware are we? How do we deal with our emotions? And for a lot of parents, there isn't the time. The focus is more on what do the kids need? What are the problems? What are the great things? And that's natural. That's biological to focus on your kids. And it's also important that we take time still to focus on ourselves, because it's necessary. We deserve it. It also impacts our parenting, your parenting. If we have unchecked emotions, undealt with emotions, they can come out sideways, or if we're containing them, might not show up as wholly for your kids or anybody really in your life. So while this is for parents, it's also stuff that can work with anyone. That's really just meant for our own emotion regulation. So getting started, go ahead and close your eyes. And what we're going to be doing is first acknowledging and allowing some feelings, and then we're going to practice a specific tool today to try to calm them down. And if you are not practiced in acknowledging or experiencing your feelings, if you're going through a lot with your kids or you've been through a lot, then just acknowledging and validating how you feel might be a lot. And so if you find that as we start this, there's a lot coming up and there's a lot there, you can feel free to stop. You can hang in there. You can reach out. I'm going to put my chat or my email in the chat. If you feel like, wow, there's way more here than I realized, then we can talk about it. But do use your resources. If there is a lot there, then that's just how much attention it needs. So closing your eyes, let's just start with 3 rounds of cleansing breath. In through the nose and out through the mouth, each round a little bit slower than the one before. So just practicing settling. And pausing. And we'll start by just check in with your physical body, with your thoughts and feelings. What are you arriving with? Our days are so busy, it's very easy to not even notice. That's the way most of us function, until we get to a point that we notice, and that our body says we need to notice. Or we're anxious or depressed or whatever. So just noticing what you feel. And now I will ask you to bring to mind a mildly upsetting experience with your kid or kids, teenager, young adult, or just any family member or person in your life. We don't want to go for the biggest, but just bring to mind something that was difficult, something annoying, frustrating, aggravating, upsetting. And then notice where you feel that feeling physically. Where do you feel that frustration or that tension in your physical body? And just breathing as you're noticing this. And what are the emotion words that fit? We want to look towards the vulnerable. So when we're frustrated, aggravated, exhausted, there's usually the vulnerable feelings underneath: powerless, hurt, scared, worried, sad. So what feelings need to be validated? And how does it feel to notice them? That's its own process. We have a relationship to our emotional experience. We've been taught things. We have avoidances. We have resistance. We don't sit well with vulnerability as humans. So when those feelings come up, we tend to have ways of pushing it aside, repressing. And so right now we're noticing, we're acknowledging, we're validating. And as you inhale, again, noticing where you feel that physically. And now we're just going to pause and practice. So one of the tools we want to use is always the pause. We have to notice, oop, there's that feeling. My face is hot. My stomach has that dropping feeling. My hands are shaking. My heart's racing. Whenever we notice, the first thing we do is pause. Always pause. Because if we're about to act, if you're about to lay out a consequence or intervene with your kid or say something, it's probably going to be emotion minded. Because if you're feeling those feelings, that means you're triggered. Your limbic system's been triggered. And so pause, take a breath. And the tool we're going to go through today is the 5 senses. So with your eyes still closed, after you've paused, take a few breaths, focusing on what you can hear. And switch your attention to what you can smell. Take a few breaths, noticing what you can taste. Take a few breaths, noticing what you feel with the outside of your body. So your clothing, the temperature in your space. Opening your eyes, take a few breaths, notice what you see. We're giving our attention to what we see. We're not just looking around. Notice and give attention to what you see. And now turn your attention again to your physical feelings. Were you able to shift anything? Where's that tension? Where's that feeling you brought up? It might still be there. I asked you to bring up feelings that might need more than just a minute or two to calm down. And so if it feels like this isn't working, I still feel agitated, that's normal. And if you're not sure what to do about it, you can reach out. We can talk more. But just noticing if you were able to plug yourself back into the present moment, because once our limbic system's triggered, we're worrying about our kids, we're worrying about our friends and family, our adrenaline's pumping, our system's keyed up, then breathing, calming it down, we can get back to a more reasonable state. And we might get triggered again instantly. So this is why it's a practice. So this is one short little practice. What we really need to do is be practicing over time. So when we get triggered in the moment, we can catch it. So this is one way you can practice, is these little short offerings that I'll put out there. And there's plenty more. So again, if you feel like, wow, I just brought up a lot and now it's up, then spend a few more minutes just taking some deep breaths, plugging back into the present moment. So we can always use our 5 senses to get present. And when we do that, we tend to calm down the limbic system. And then we have access to our right mind, our frontal lobes, our compassion, our love for our loved ones, our logical thinking. And so plug back into the present moment. That's the theme with that tool. And that's it for today. I hope that was helpful. I thank you for joining. Feel free to share. Feel free to reach out with any questions. And good luck.